Catching a Pokemon can vary in difficulty depending on which Pokemon a trainer is trying to catch. When dealing with Pokemon in the early game, such as in Viridian Forest, Pokemon like Caterpie and Weedle doesn't really require much patience, skill, and luck. However, when dealing with legendary Pokemon in the latter stages of the game, this tends to not be the case. And on that note, we thought that we would put together a list of the top 10 hardest legendary Pokemon to catch according to their catch rate. But of course, just before we do go into the video, if you do like this type of content and you would like to see some more top 10s, be sure to hit that subscribe button and of course, like this video. And all of that said, let's just get straight into it. These are the top 10 hardest legendary Pokemon to catch according to their catch rate. Number 10, Arceus. Arceus is a normal type mythical Pokemon introduced in Generation 4, and also known as the original one, supposedly having created the entire Pokemon universe. With no known evolutions, Arceus is nonetheless a formidable foe, which is to be expected from what is referred to as the Pokemon God. As mentioned before, Arceus was introduced in Generation 4, where he's described as the Pokemon that was born before the universe even existed, and then shaped the Pokemon universe as to what we know it to be today. And if you do encounter Arceus, you might have a hard time trying to catch it, especially as its catch rate is extremely low. Number 9, Articuno. Articuno is a legendary flying Pokemon, very well known to the old fans of the franchise. With its blue appearance and wings, with the long distinctive tail feathers, supposedly made of ice, Articuno does come across as quite a majestic Pokemon, and it's said that when Articuno flies that ice falls, hence its Japanese name titled as Freezer. Located in isolated locations, such as snowy mountains, and deep within caves, if players do want to catch Articuno, then that is where you'll most likely find it. Although while Articuno does have lower stats than Arceus, its catch rate is the same, meaning that this Pokemon can be quite a bit tricky if you are trying to catch one. Number 8, Zapdos. Zapdos in Japanese is literally named Thunder, and is also a flying Pokemon similar to Articuno. But while Articuno controls ice, Zapdos controls electricity and thunder. Zapdos does appear in multiple games and in different forms, and if you are looking to get your hands on one of these legendary electric flying Pokemon, you're looking at a catch rate of around 3.2, which is somewhat similar to Articuno and Arceus. Number 7, Moltres. Along with the previous entries, Zapdos and Articuno, Moltres is one of the 3 legendary birds of Kanto. Moltres symbolizes fire, and features in a few games, most notably Pokemon Red and Blue, or Pokemon Fire Red, Leaf Green. That said, it also does appear in a different form in Pokemon Sword and Shield, and if you are looking to get your hands on one of these Pokemon, then you have around about a 2.1% chance of capturing it per ball, which means that you have at least 50% chance of catching it within 33 balls, and at least a 95% chance of catching it within 141 balls. Number 6, Lugia. Lugia, considered to be the master of the legendary birds, is a protector of the sea who resides deep at the bottom of the ocean, and in appearance, he is composed of traits of a dragon, bird, wyvern, and sea monster. There's only one Lugia available to catch in all Pokemon games after meeting certain conditions, and in Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver, he can be caught in the depths of the Sea Cave at Whirl Island. If you are trying to catch Lugia within a Pokeball, this gives you around about a 1.1% of a chance, although this increases when trying to use an Ultra Ball. Number 5, Ho-Oh. Ho-Oh is also a legendary flying Pokemon, and like the previous entries, he was introduced in the 2nd generation, and is the trio master of the legendary beasts, Raikou, Entei, and Suicune. It's also closely related to Lugia, and while Lugia commands the sea, Ho-Oh is there commanding the sky. It also has mythological powers to resurrect the dead, and can cause rainbows with its 7 coloured wings. Ho-Oh is considered to be extremely hard to catch, with only one available in all installments of the Pokemon games. With a base stat of 680, it's much stronger than the previous entries and the other legendary flying birds. Number 4, Raikou. Raikou is one of the 3 legendary Pokemon resurrected by Ho-Oh. Like Zapdos, he's able to cause thunder at will, and he can also fly by creating cloud storms. With this Pokemon is subject to what type of Pokeball that you're using, you're looking at around a 2% chance of catching it when using a Quick Ball. Number 3, Entei. Like Raikou, Entei was resurrected by Ho-Oh, and it is the embodiment of magma, and is said that when he barks that a volcano erupts, with its name coming from the Japanese word Enet, meaning blazing heath. Its first appearance was in the Game Boy Color Pokemon game, Pokemon Gold and Silver, and was promptly featured in the next installments, while being a final boss in Pokemon Ranger. While its catch rate is quite similar to Raikou, the problem with some of these legendary dogs is that not only are they hard to find, as they appear at random when walking through the grass, but then not long after they tend to flee. When using an Ultra Ball, you're looking at around a 4.3% chance of catching it per Ultra Ball that you throw. Number 2, Suicune. Suicune symbolizes pure spring water and has the power to purify dirty water. Suicune is a water-type Pokemon with white diamond-shaped markings on its head. Suicune is extremely hard to catch. For example, in Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, it tends to flee unless the trainer sends out a Pokemon that has the ability Shadow Tag or even the move Mean Look. In Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver, it roams the Johto and Kanto region, and if you are trying to catch a Suicune with a Pokeball, your percentage is around 0.4%, although this goes up to about 0.8% when having around 10 HP left. Number 1, Mewtwo. Mewtwo is a humanoid Pokemon created by science, and aside from being a powerful psychic type, he can also speak the human language. Mewtwo is considered to be one of the toughest Pokemon to catch within the game. For instance, in some games his catching opportunity is time limited, while in others he's the game's final boss. It's hard to say what the catching rate is, especially as there's so many variables to consider. However, on average, you're looking around a 2.8% chance of capturing per ball, which is something like a 50% chance of catching it within 25 balls, and at least a 95% chance of catching it within 105 balls. Of course, depending on what game you're playing, Mewtwo tends to lurk in the dark, usually hidden within caves, so you could also think about using something like a Dusk Ball. And so there you pretty much have it. Those were our top 10 hardest legendary Pokemon to catch according to catch rate. So what did you think of our top 10? Do you agree with our list? Or perhaps that you think that there was another legendary Pokemon that's quite hard to catch that wasn't included and should have been on this list? If so, do let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. I would love to hear them. And of course, not forgetting that if you do like this type of content and you would like to see some more top 10s, be sure to hit that subscribe button and of course, like this video. I'll also leave some more Pokemon related content at the end of this video if you would like to check them out. Thanks very much for watching, guys, and I will see you all next time.